So She-Hulk stars Tatiana Maslany as Jennifer Walters, a.k.a. She-Hulk. Mark Ruffalo as Bruce Banner, a.k.a. the Hulk. Tim Roth, who hasn't been on yet, is Emil Blonsky, the... what's his...
Abomination.
Abomination, yeah. Apparently Benedict Wong will be in it at some point as Wong. Ginger Gonzaga is Nikki. I guess that was her friend at the law firm. And Jamila Jamil as Titania, who showed up just at the very end of episode 1. All right, and then I also got up here somewhere the old Wikipedia episode guide to help us remember some shit. Okay, so the show opens on her practicing a speech for a big old lawyer case she's involved in. Then she exits the room, but then she comes back and she, of course, breaks the fourth wall. What do you guys think? Because I guess I've never really dug into the She-Hulk comics, but I guess in certain runs she does break the fourth wall, like Deadpool. What do you guys think of that? Do you like it? Do you not?
In general, I don't know if I care, but in general, it's not my favorite thing. But if you're going to do it, maybe don't make it completely pointless.
I mean, I was fine with it here. I mean, I thought it worked fine as like a transition to get her backstory.
Okay.
Yeah, it was alright. I liked it more in Deadpool. I don't know why. It just seemed more
funnier, probably.
Yeah.
So yeah. So then she breaks the fourth wall to tell us, "Oh yeah, by the way, I'm She-Hulk, and this is how it happened." So it flashes back a few months ago. She's having a car ride with Bruce. I don't know if it said where they're going. They're on some trip or something. When all of a sudden a spaceship comes down, a Sakaran spaceship. Now, I feel like, because I've read a shitload of Marvel comics, and I feel like I've seen that name before, but I don't remember what the Sakaran look like or what.
Sakaar, that's the planet that Jeff Goldblum rules.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, Sakaar.
You think we'll get some Jeff Goldblum up in this bitch?
Maybe.
Anyway, the spaceship causes them to veer off and crash the car. Oh yeah, Bruce mentions before that he's got this device on his wrist that he made to basically keep him in his human form. Which, throughout the movies and stuff, have they ever really explained his deal? Because like, he shows up in I think it's Endgame, and then he's all of a sudden just like the smart Hulk, you know. But does he ever really explain? Well, I guess he maybe goes over it a little bit in this show about how like he makes that transition.
Yeah, like he talks about in this show how he put it together and got like the brains and the bronze and made the smart Hulk, and he also talks about how mostly that.
Now, so did he like in Endgame, did he have to be the Hulk, or could he have been just Bruce Banner? Like in Endgame, I got the impression that something happened that like forced him to be the Hulk rather than choose.
Well, when he snapped the glove or whatever, he said it was like made for him. So I think for like plot purposes, like it was better that he be the Hulk so he could use the gauntlet, the Infinity Gauntlet.
Oh, okay. Okay, we'll go with that. So yeah, they get in a car wreck. They're both bleeding, and so as she pulls him out of the wreckage, she gets some of his blood in her bloodstream, causes her to Hulk out. And at first, like, she can't control it, so she just kind of goes crazy and runs through the woods. She wakes up back in her human form. I guess like her clothes must have been somewhat ripped,
I guess.
Anyway, she finds this bar, and she goes in this bar and like goes to the mirror and starts like washing her face, and she's like covered in blood and shit. And then this pack of like multicultural like ladies come in. And I was asking you, I was like, are these ladies like prostitutes, and they like think she's a fellow prostitute and is like thinks she's been like abused by her pimp or something, and they're trying to help? Or is this just like a group of like bachelorette ladies or something out on having a girls' night out?
Yeah, it's not clear, but it's weird because they just come in and they're instantly like, "Oh, let us help you. Here's some hairspray. Here's some makeup. Here's whatever."
The reason I thought the maybe prostitutes is they put like this like puffy like jacket on her.
Right, really shitty jacket.
That looked kind of like a prostitute.
But she was like all dirty and stuff, and they're just like putting makeup over the dirt. And I'm like, that's you might want to clean her up first, and then then maybe talk about a little makeup over the.
Like we'll put it on thick enough. It doesn't.
You got to really cake it over those, those blood marks there.
So yeah, that part was a little bit silly. And then like she goes outside the bar, and like right away, there's like this stereotypical like group of guys that are like, I don't know, catcalling her.
Well, right when it came to the bar, I'm like, okay, there's gonna be a bar fight.
Yeah. At least it doesn't last long. So yeah, these guys are like harassing her. So she immediately like hulks out and like I think she like punches them. And then right before that, she borrowed one of the prostitutes' phone to call Bruce, so he knows. And then I think she just basically kind of blacks out at that point and wakes.
She like tackles somebody, and then like it cuts to her waking up.
Yeah, so she wakes up in bed, and she's greeted by Bruce. We find out that he took her to Mexico. He's got like this science lab / stronghold there that Tony Stark built for him, and yeah, he mentions that like he used that lab to basically figure out how to make himself the quote unquote smart Hulk.
But he also like writes off like the car crash. He's like, "Oh yeah, that spaceship. I don't know what that was about. I'll have to figure that out at some."
Yeah, he's like, "I'll get to the bottom of that eventually."
But like, it obviously came for him, right?
Yeah.
And they crashed, and then it was just gone. It was like, well, it served its purpose.
That seems like so far the most interesting storyline. Like, what was up with that spaceship?
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, that was just. It feels stupid. I don't know what's going on.
But the thing is if that spaceship contained somebody who wanted him, why wouldn't they just like been like, oh, they're wrecked. Okay, let's go get him.
Yeah.
Like he's hurt. Like, so that maybe they'll explain that. Maybe to give.
They just wanted to fly across the galaxy and make him drive off a cliff. And they're like, mission accomplished.
So this is Walters is taken to Banner's secret laboratory in Mexico, where he explains her special genetic condition and offers to help with her powers. Doesn't he say like there's something like because they're cousins and like they have certain genetic markers in common, like that helps her like deal with it?
Right. So somehow, like they have something special in their DNA or blood or something, and they can absorb gamma radiation and turn it into whatever makes them a Hulk, I guess. But there was also something like, oh, when we were in the crash, I had that thing on me, and so I was bleeding, and my blood got in you, and now you're a Hulk because you also absorbed a bunch of gamma radiation. I was like, how did she absorb gamma radiation? I was like,
well, I mean, just by his blood, right?
I guess he has very he's gammaed up in his blood.
I mean, that's true to the comics. Like with the Hulk, it's gamma all up in his business, in his blood and everything.
So you think like the people around him get cancer?
Maybe. I mean, they don't explicitly say that ever.
Anyway, it seemed, it was what it needed to be, I guess.
So yeah, there's a sequence here where like he's running experiments on her. And like he wants to know what it takes to bring the Hulk out in her, and so he puts her in this thing and gets these like saw blades spinning at her, and eventually that like scares her enough to transform her. And like, actually, I should back up a minute because he tells her that like this is going to change your life. You're probably going to have to stay on this island for years, and I'll like teach you how to control your powers. But then after he runs out of experiment, like he finds out that she doesn't go crazy like he did when he was originally the Hulk. Like when she changes into the Hulk, brain-wise, she's still her. So he's like, oh, this will take some time off your training or whatever. They have like a whole training montage, which is fun enough, I guess, where like they're throwing giant boulders and learning to, leap tall buildings in a single bound and all that kind of stuff.
I felt like there's a little bit of like, women power there, I guess. Like, whatever you can do, I can do better. I don't know.
But he throws the rock into outer space.
He's
Yeah.
way stronger.
Well, he had something to prove after she showed him up, I guess.
I mean, they do show that he's still like stronger, but I was trying to think like if there was anything else in that. I mean, there's
yoga.
yeah, they're throwing some comedy
meditation.
with the yoga where like he's trying to get her to like use yoga, but she's not really into it, and she really just wants to go back to her own life, and like he's got this whole thing where he's like, I got to teach you to be a superhero. And she's like, I don't want to be a superhero. I'm just going to go back and be a lawyer. But he's like, no, you have these powers. And basically the Spider-Man thing, so you have a responsibility. Like you can save people and whatnot. So you should be a superhero. But like, she's not into that. You didn't like, I feel like there was some like decent like banter between the two of them at points.
At points, I thought like maybe they were trying to be funny, and it just wasn't.
I mean, it wasn't like a gut busting or anything.
It wasn't even a chuckle.
Okay.
I didn't hear anybody laughing.
Maybe there was a smirk.
Yeah, there might have been some smirking.
So it basically boils down to she attempts to leave in a Jeep. Bruce like doesn't want her to. And then this leads them into having like this big like fight. And like a part of me was like, well, if he's not Hulk brained out, like he's taking big shots at her.
Yeah, why is he in this fight as anything other than trying to be calm? And then it's a stupid fight.
Yeah, it was just fan service.
It seemed that way because I was like, is he doing this to quote unquote like train her and test her limits, or like is he really like having trouble? Because he's supposed to be his like normal brain, so it's not like he's like hulking out and like can't control his temper.
Yeah.
So yeah, it seemed like they just wanted an excuse for these guys to have a fight. As far as the CG, I thought it was like fine. You do notice it like when they throw things, like sometimes it looks a bit like weird, but like for the most part, I thought it was serviceable.
Yeah, no huge issues with the CGI. There's definitely much worse stuff in Miss Marvel.
Yeah. And as far as like her hulking out, like, with him between a human and Hulk, it's like a huge change. Hers doesn't seem that dramatic. Like maybe she gets a little bit taller and a little bit wider. I don't know.
Yeah, she's definitely taller. Her hair gets straight.
Yeah, that's right.
Now he has a scene where he's like, "Your new best friend is spandex," and then we got a scene where she's like, seemingly wearing just a regular T-shirt. She hulks out and goes back down. Are we to believe that that's spandex? Because it just looks like a cotton T-shirt.
I don't know. She ripped her suit on a later one.
Well, I mean, like she was wearing that "I Love Mexico" shirt, and it didn't seem like that when like got fucked up. So I was like, is that spandex? Is everything she's wearing spandex right now? I don't know.
You never see Hulk's dick in spandex. Like I don't feel like spandex would help you a lot. Like I think you'd still be seeing more than you want to see.
They need to get the Fantastic Four in there with those unstable molecule suits that they have that can just like go to any shape.
I thought you were going to say so the stretchy guy could like cover his private parts. Stretch.
Well, the stretchy guy, he has the unstable molecule suit, so he can stretch, and he doesn't have to worry about such things.
It's kind of degrading to be a Hulk diaper, though.
That would be a good comic panel. I'll have to find a way to fit that in a story.
Never tell anyone about this.
He's like, "I'll save your modesty, Hulk."
Sue Storm's married to underwear.
But yeah, basically they come to terms with things. Oh yeah, and we find out because he has like this little tiki bar, and we find out that I guess just like Captain America, like they metabolize alcohol so fast that like it takes a lot to get them drunk.
Yeah, they said they get the buzz, but they don't get like messed up and throw up or anything.
Right. So yeah, they come to terms with it. She goes back to her regular life. So towards the end of the episode, she's doing her court case that they set up in the beginning. When like out of nowhere, for whatever reason, I'm sure they'll get to it in probably the next episode or whatever. Titania, who they don't actually name in this episode,
Right?
but she breaks through the wall, and basically Jennifer just instantly turns into the Hulk and just like easily like throws her against the wall. Like she doesn't put up a fight at all, seemingly.
She comes in with like almost like no known purpose, like no motive.
Yeah, I guess we'll find that out
And
later.
like she's like, I guess I do have to turn into the Hulk. And yeah,
She does
doesn't make sense.
Titania does like at one point try to do like this Street Fighter kick at her, and she's like wearing like these weird like pants that are like all like fluffy or something, or they look very fashionable. I guess very weird. Yeah,
And it also makes like a sound. Now, here's something I was wondering. Do you guys feel like to some extent they were trying to like put in elements from like, shitty old like TV?
I mean, possibly, because I think this is supposed to be kind of an ode to like maybe like old school like 70s type shows.
There were a couple of times when I got that feeling, but it's like I don't know if they were like dedicated to it, but it's kind of like in there.
Well, early on when they first announced the show, I remember they released like some sort of poster or something, and it kind of looked like a 70s type style thing. So I think they are kind of going for something like that.
I don't know. Yeah. I did kind of see those elements. I feel like if they're trying to do, is it supposed to be funny? Like, is it?
Yeah, they're definitely going for a comedy here.
Like, they're not hitting it. But most funny shows are written by comedians in general. It's not just like some writer who's like, oh, let's make a comedy.
I mean, certainly some of the funniest shows of all time were written by comedians, but I'm sure there's shows we've watched that were funny that were written by just like people we didn't know of.
I don't know. At any rate, it didn't work for me.
Now, you're saying just the humor didn't work, or the show as a whole?
I mean, there's things that don't make sense. If I was going to take my mood over like the whole thing, it's just being bored. I was bored.
Well, I mean, the stuff that is the stuff that doesn't make sense stuff that they, because like I'm sure they're gonna like go into Titania's backstory. I'm sure they're gonna eventually explain the Sakaar aliens. Like, other than that, like, what's the stuff that like puzzled you or didn't make sense?
I mean, those were just. I mean, there were things that just felt like plot filler, I guess, and like there wasn't any like comic lines that kind of brought it home for me. There was a little bit of banter, but I don't know. I was just like, eh. I was like, okay, you've told me how she becomes the Hulk. Here's our montage. Here's our fight. Here's our random scene in the courtroom. There was no surprises in there for me, I guess.
By the way, do you think this Titania lady is instantly going to become like someone she's defending in court?
Possible.
I kind of get that feeling that like we're going to find out that,
that would kind of seem like a conflict of interest.
Maybe, but I feel like we're going to find out her backstory is she was like aggrieved in some sort of way, and then She-Hulk ends up defending her, even though that would be a conflict of interest. I'm probably wrong, but that's just.
She was acting irrationally. She's a woman.
I thought she would be defending Abomination later on some point, but
Oh, good point. Yeah, if he's going to be in it, that wouldn't surprise me.
yeah.
Man, it's kind of weird because like I only watched the Incredible Hulk movie once because I didn't think it was that good, so I don't really even remember it all that well. And like, it just seems weird because it was so long ago that they're like bringing elements from that movie, you know.
I mean, with this show, I think there's still a lot to be excited about. I think the first episode, it fell flat for me too. But that's just how these Marvel shows go. Like, in the first 2 episodes, they're usually pretty, like,
Yeah,
dull and
you have to get through 2 or 3 and then cross your fingers that it gets better.
Yeah. And I'm hoping that, like, it's got, you know, these big names coming up in the future of this season. So, like, you know, we got Wong, we've got Abomination,
yeah.
we've got other people probably. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this universe gets built out.
I will say, I mean, you can't really judge based off of one episode, but so far, like, I'm definitely got better vibes about this show than Hawkeye and Miss Marvel.
Yeah, I think so too.
I don't think it's going to rank quite as low as those 2.
So, I don't know if we need to do this for every episode of this show, but just as a starting point, where do you think you'd rate this show on a scale of 1 to 10?
Give it a 6 out of 10.
3.
I'm going to be even nicer. I'm going to give it a 6.5. You know, on the upside, I think Tatiana Maslany, I don't think I've seen her in very much, but I thought she was, like, charismatic and, like, fun here.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Yeah, I thought they did okay going, like, together.
Do you think with Ruffalo, like, do you think with the Hulk, they're like totally just like CGing and he's just doing like voiceover work? Or do you think they actually get him in the mocap suit?
I think they put him in the suit.
I would think he'd be in the suit.
Because, I mean, the Hulk's definitely doing some stuff that, you know, he's not doing. So I didn't know, like, if they did that or not.
Yeah, it could be a combination or, yeah, I don't know.
Well, we had mixed feelings about She-Hulk episode 1, but what did you think? Go ahead and leave us a comment and let us know